This is the content for tonight is the power of intent taking us forward into the new world. And I use the word new world, embracing the new energy that we're going to experience ourselves and for everyone. But mainly tonight we're focusing on just you and how your consciousness can change and how you can control the change of your consciousness. So there is a huge power in change and the opportunity for change. And the last time I spoke, I mentioned about opportunity and that COVID has brought us an opportunity. And it's brought us an opportunity to step back from our normal lives, to step back from the rush and tumble of our normal lives. That's for most of us anyway. And giving us a chance to what I consider as a form of hibernation. And hibernation is going away, shutting yourself off, and allowing yourself to change into some new form. And the chrysalis and the butterfly are what come to mind for this. So we've shut ourselves away, and we've got an opportunity by shutting ourselves away to think, to contemplate, to ponder, to actually look inside ourselves and look at our world from a standoff point. Instead of always being in the doing of it, we can just be in the being of it, and to say, is this what I really want? Is this how I want my life to go forward? And you might be saying, yes, I'm very happy with my life. I'm loving where I am. I'm loving what I've been doing, and I want to carry on doing it when I can re-engage. But I think most of us will find that there will be some change. And although a lot of experiences come sometimes or seemingly out of the blue at us, and this one didn't, of course, come out of the blue at us, it's always good to feel that you've got some level of control about what's happening. And I want us to really tonight to focus on that whole aspect of taking control of your life yourself and making your own choices, choosing what you want, not having it thrust upon you. Now, I know we've got a life purpose and we've made a plan, but there's always room in any plan for amendment and change and tweaking it to suit ourselves. Excuse me. So while we're in hibernation, it's a good idea to take advantage of that and to think what you want. What do you want? What do you really want from yourself? What do you want from your life? What is your vision for going forward? And I suggest a journal would be a wonderful way to keep a note of that. Don't have to be a journal. I'm not a journal person myself, but I do write notes and I put them in envelopes and then I turn them into some sort of blog or vlog or some such thing. I like to keep a note of my thoughts and my insights. And there's been quite a few that have come up in this last few weeks for me. And I personally have decided that I enjoy the life I have, but I really don't want to be hurtling around all over the world anymore. And I'm actually really enjoying that I can connect to people by staying in my home. And when I've had my connection, I can go downstairs and sit in my garden, play with my dogs and be with my family and not in a hotel room on the other side of the world. So that's one of the things I've decided. And I've also decided that I need to make sure that I always have balance in my life, not always working and not always playing, but having a good balance. But this is everybody's individual choice, and that's why the choice is such a powerful word. This is something you you can choose. Nothing to do with other people's influences, totally yours. And that's the true power of you, the being able to step in to make your own choices. And even if you think you can't, because you're maybe trapped in a relationship that doesn't really suit you, maybe you're in a job that you don't enjoy but think you can't leave, you'd be surprised that if you put an intention that you want to change, you work not on your own, but with the universe, and the universe will help you to let you achieve what it is your wish and your will. This is one of our greatest powers, the power of intention. So once you've made your choice, then you set your intention. And nothing moves in your life unless you have an intention. It's a bit like the train won't leave the station unless it's got a goal of a destination. Our engine doesn't start really motoring until we have a goal. It might be a simple goal. It might be a complex one, but it'd be your goal. So once you've made your choice, then you set your intention, and you're bringing into action one of the most powerful forces, which is your free will. And your free will, I was feeling, coming from your solar plexus. That's where your will sits. Unfortunately, it's also where your fear sits. So part of this whole operation, if you like, of setting a choice and putting it into action is to make sure that you balance out and clear any fear that might be lurking, that might be a barrier to you for going forward. And I have got something to help you with that. And we're also going to help you with that in the meditation and the healing meditation we'll do later. But be aware that you might be your own saboteur. And if you are, you need to find out what the fear is that's lurking underneath that might be stopping you from using your own free will. It is your greatest power, in my view. Well, love, the ability to love, and the ability to choose, make your own choices, are the great gifts that you have. And once you've made the intention, then you're ready and set your intentions. And quite honestly, you don't have to do much more than that to start the ball rolling, the ball of change, the new energy. Then you can emerge with your new persona, your new consciousness. And always you'll find this will be a rise in vibration, a change in your consciousness. And you come out as that beautiful butterfly. So, I just wanted to look at what the new world ways are. And one of the ones that comes to mind for the way when the new energy is going to be post-COVID, we could call it that as a point. We said before and after the war. Now we say before and after COVID. Say post-COVID, we're coming into a new energy because the whole world's gone into its chrysalis and coming out one way or another. And a friend of mine sent me a letter and mentioned one of the quotes from Steve Jobs. Now, Steve Jobs has got some amazing quotes because he was an old hippie, wasn't he? I mean, he's quite a spiritual man. He's been on quite a journey. Apart from his work in the commercial world, his amazing work he did to bring us Apple, but he also brought Pixar, and he also was a traveller in India for some time. Quite an interesting man. And if you are interested in quotes, you can go on and Google Steve Jobs quotes, and they're quite inspiring. And this is one of the ones he came up with, which is when he lived his life at 100 miles an hour, stretching himself to the extreme all the way through. And in the last 4 years of his life, he was quite sick. And he had some realizations at that point. And one of the realizations was that he should have taken more care of himself. So this is his sort of, his take on caring for yourself. And I thought that it was worth mentioning and sharing with you. The 6 doctors, he calls them, that you need for well-being. One is sunlight. And, you know, it's interesting because I mentioned the solar plexus and the will that and that's where a great power is that allows us to choose what we want in our lives. And the solar, I've done some work when I wrote the book, The Power of You. I did quite a lot of work on and investigating into the power of the sun and the power of the spirit of the sun. And the sun is the most powerful energy force in our universe. We all know that. But it also has a very powerful spiritual force as well. And we believe that there's more to sunlight than just the heat and sunlight that comes through to us. In the past, the ancients worshipped the sun, and I think with good reason, because the connection between the sun and our own sun, our own solar plexus, is quite important. And when I was writing my book, I set up a few meditations which were literally to connect to the spirit of the sun, the solar logos. I used a symbol to make the connection, and then bring that the energy of the sun directly into your own solar plexus, your own sun, and allow the sun to dissolve the fears that are sitting there and empower us. So if you're feeling that you're a little bit controlled by others and that you're not perhaps in the full control of yourself as you would like to be, you might want to consider doing meditations connecting to the sun. I actually recorded a few with the Power of You book, and they're out now on Spotify and iTunes, so they're easy and cheap to get hold of. So if you wanted to, you could connect to those. So not just the sunlight to sit outside in the sun, but to actually connect to the power of the sun. Of course, there's nothing like sitting in the sun to make you feel good. And obviously Steve found that maybe a bit later in his life. The second doctor was rest. And I like this one because I'm a bit of a driver, and I have a very strong, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And if I'm not careful, my should do's and ought to's take over my life. And then I find that I'm not really giving myself recharge time. And one of the things that we've been able to do with this break is to perhaps get more rest and take more time to recharge our batteries. So I like the fact that Steve has said we need to have rest. So now I've got my excuse. So I say to myself, I should do this because this is caring for myself. And because it's caring for myself, then it's an okay thing. And it's my own little self-dialogue that says, yeah, I like that. That's good permission. Thank you. So thank you, Steve, wherever you're sitting on whatever cloud you're sitting on. Thank you for giving me permission to take some rest. But I really do think it's important to have this balance. And we've talked a lot. I talked to Gina about this. We do so much work on Zoom and in front of the computer at the moment. And Catherine was saying the same, that I feel it's even more important now to get that sunlight and rest. Get away from the computer and then get out and watch the birds. That's what I do. I go out, play with the dogs, watch the birds. Not much else I can do out there, but I can do that. And that gives me a chance to get the eyes away from from the screen. He says exercise. Well, we all know that one. I think that's pretty much a standard way of looking after yourself, and it's not a punishment, whatever way it suits you to do it. Diet, of course. I've been cooking. I'm normally sport, but I've been doing our own cooking for the last few months, and every meal we have, it seems to end up being something from the Mediterranean range of cooking. Just had more frites now, which is a nice, quick, cheap, easy one. Again, you know, I keep thinking south of France. I keep thinking, yeah, Mediterranean. Lots of tomatoes and onions in our diet, and garlic. My husband particularly likes garlic. So whatever whatever goes in it, I double it up, if not quadruple it. So diet, of course. Self-confidence, I thought, was an interesting one that he put here. I would just put that self-confidence, self-love, self-trust, all the selves. Just to think of yourself and to build up your own strength. So that's another one of his advices are very good. And friends. And of course, one of the things that I think we probably value, I definitely value most, is my friendships. I've always been really keen on friendships. Being an only child, that sort of enforced that when I was young. And yeah, I think that is all about caring for yourself, to make sure you get the love that you need in your life, and you get love from friends. Love and support and humour. Well, I think I'd like to put humour on the end of there. I think the other doctor's got to be humour. You might like to, when you come to do your chat together, to think if there's any others other doctors you'd like to add to Steve's 6. So when you get together, just have a little chat about that. What would you like to add to that list, on the caring for yourself list? Okay. So caring for yourself is definitely the way forward. You know, we came from the Piscean era not so very long ago, and that was all about being told what to do and following rules and following the father figure. We're now in the Aquarian age, which is the female energy of divine feminines at the forefront, and we're about taking self-responsibility, making your own rules rather than following a list of other people's rules. And so I think that the energies that I'm going to mention here, these new other ways of being, are actually in line with the Aquarians as well. So it's a bit like a to-do list, I suppose, how it would be nice to live. This is just my perspective, of course, you understand. But I think really important in the new way is that we always express our feelings, obviously in a gentle way, and not in a thuggish way. I mean, we're actually seeing it right unfold before our eyes now with the marches and the protest marches of the Black Lives Matter and equality. How powerful it is when they march without causing damage, and how powerful that is. They're expressing feelings, and that's wonderful. So we always need to express our feelings in a gentle way. And less masking. I mean, when in my grandmother's age, she would always go along with everything my grandfather said. And the male of the house was the one who made the decisions, and his views normally were the ones that were followed. Not in every household and not all the time, I know, but that was a general rule, that men ruled the world and men were the ones who made the decisions. And women put on masks, pretending that it was all okay when it wasn't. And that's changed and changed more and more in time. And I think it's quite good for us to think about not putting on a mask to pretend to be something or that we're not really. And I mean that in a positive way, not a critical way. To share your feelings. Claiming your powers. Well, I love the whole idea of taking back control and developing your primal powers and as a spiritual being. Good to be a human being, but even better is to be a spiritual being, because the spiritual being of us has the greatest powers. So we have the power of, I've just put here, love, intention and creativity, the ability to create what you want, the set your intentions and use your will, and to use the incredible power of love for yourself and others. Somebody once said, what do we come to Earth for? What's the purpose of coming to the Earth? And the only answer can possibly be, as far as I'm concerned, is to find love. To find love in yourself and in others. So it's a hugely powerful one. Again, you might want to find other powers to add to that list. Accepting yourself as unique without self-criticism. Nothing really changes unless you accept yourself. And as soon as you start to accept yourself, you find that you become less critical of others. Because when you accept yourself, you are accepting yourself, warts and all. And we've all got warts. We've all got little idiosyncrasies. And whether you, even without saying they're negative, but they will be negative to some people, we're going to accept ourselves exactly as we are. We realize that we are a product of our past soul journey, and our past human journey, and our past genetic journey. So we're going to have to put up with it, and we might as well just enjoy it and accept it. And once you start to do that and live with full acceptance, you are stepping definitely into the new way, because everything in the past has been about criticism, about judgment. So now moving on to doing what you love to do and want to do, and not what you must do, should do, or ought to do. This is a big challenge, and this is the one that I sat and thought about the most. And am I doing what I really want to do? Am I doing my healing sessions because I really love to do them, or because I feel I ought to do them because I can? You might like to ask yourself, you're doing it because you can, and if you have a gift that you feel you must share, are you still loving to do it? And I was really delighted to be able to come to the conclusion without too much thinking about it, that I absolutely loving doing my healings, particularly now that I'm doing it with Zoom. I find it more powerful and more relaxing. So what is it for you to move into the new way of doing what you love to do? And in the future, let's live without the programming that's been placed upon us by others. First of all, you've got to decide what programming has been placed on you. What are you doing and thinking simply because you were told that's how you were, that's what you should do? Of course, we had fantastic advice from our parents and the school teachers and from our cultural leaders, but we also had a lot of nonsense. So to stand back, work out what's nonsense and what's good, and decide what you're going to take forward. Not just blindly going forward with I call it programming because it's often repeated and repeated and repeated. to the point where it's like almost becomes part of your DNA. So, and attachments. And we did a workshop on the weekend on attachments, and I know that they do create an enormous amount of suffering. So what are you attached to that you really want to be attached to? What do you want to let go? Are you attached to expectations? That's a dodgy one. Expectations can bring you down faster than anything. It goes hand in hand with this perfectionist thing where people feel they should be better than they are. So just analyze, what are you attached to? Because I see in the new way forward, be far less attachment, more loving, more caring, more kindness, less attachment. Attachments to addictions, attachments to the past, attachments to the drama, attachments, as I say, to expectations of other people. This is the big one for me, not expecting anything from my family other than what they are. It's a difficult one. That is a real difficult one. And these are the things, though, that will bring us into this new vibration. Following your passion and heart and using your mind to plan. So yes, as we were saying recently when we were celebrating Judy Payakis' 9th year with Conscious Cafe, there was a passion that came from her heart. So it was pure, it was absolutely pure, it came from the very essence of who she is. And that's why it's worked so well. And it has a quality about it, and anything that comes from our passion has a definitely different quality from something we feel this is something we sit down and we ought to do. And then we let the passion of our heart rule it rather than our mind. And we use the mind to plan it and do the logical thing. The mind isn't here to rule us. It loves to do that. And it sometimes can be our greatest enemy. So I see the way forward is with the heart ruling and the mind maybe moderating some of the wildest passions, but definitely it's the heart that has to lead the way. Get it into perspective, get it into balance. So, living your own life and letting others live theirs. How many times do you hear people saying, well, she should do this and he ought to do that. No, she wouldn't. And why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? And this constant need to fix other people's lives and this constant need to control. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of controlling, you will know that it's darkness. That's all I can say. And it can go into darkness. I know a lot of people control from, I'm only doing it because I love you. And that's true. But it can easily run into almost abuse. And as I say, if you've been on the receiving end or you've seen loved ones go through it, you know that there's something to avoid, and it's something we do not want in our way forward. Let people live their own lives. And if they're going through difficult times, you offer your love and support. Don't force it upon people. Don't force your advice on people. But there you go. That's just my own feeling about controlling. I think I must have had some very controlling lives in the past, because this is one of the things that gets me a little bit passionate. I mean, I think I must have been controlled. Was everybody a slave once in a past life? I don't know. Anyway, so live and let live. I think that's be wonderful if everybody did that. Wouldn't it be wonderful? So being open to receive now. We were talking about this morning in one of my groups I'm part of, which is a power of intention group, which I'm going to come to talk about just now. We said that it's no good putting all sorts of great intentions out there if you're not open to receive what the universe wants to give you. So open-hearted and open to receive, I put that quite high up on the list of how I would like to see the way forward. Yeah, there's ways you can put the intention out to be open, and the listening and not having a prejudice and having an open mind is important. I do a morning ritual, and the morning ritual is to open the heart to receive and open the mind to receive too, so that even if we've got pretty strong beliefs, that we are still able to be open enough to hear and perhaps take on some new ideas as well. Especially opportunities, because this is the whole point, isn't it? We're butterflying out. We're butterflying, yes, we're butterflying out into the next phase of our lives, and with big open hearts and minds. And the new world ways, please, it would be wonderful, wouldn't it all? Let's put an intention out for it to be loving, respecting and caring for all sentient beings. Okay. So you might want to add many more things to this. You can discuss this in your groups. So I want to just talk now about the power of positive thinking for a moment. The girlfriend of mine sent me a link to it, and I've forgotten her name now. This is bad of me. A lady who's written lots of books about positive thinking and living. Anyway, she does it very much into creating success for yourself. But one thing she mentioned was that she can see energy, right? She can see the flow of energy. And she saw that when people are saying positive things, uplifting things, she sees like a stream of a rainbow coming out of their mouth. Isn't that beautiful? So this is if you're saying a positive or thinking something positive, but if you're saying something positive, it comes out of your mouth. If you're thinking, it's coming radiating out of you. As we know, thoughts go to the focus. So wherever you're thinking of, if it's yourself or somebody else, and you're thinking something uplifting about them, like rainbow type energy she sees. But when your thoughts are toxic, when your thoughts are negative, and that's worry and anxiety and pessimism, as well as I hate that person's rubbish, I can't stand him, blah, blah, blah. Then she saw like grey matter pouring out of the person's mouth. So that I've told my husband about that, and he's promised not to say anything bad against Trump again. Because so when he says that, I said, when you're saying bad things about Trump, you just fill the room with grey blur. So I've had a bit of a laugh about that. He said, yeah, but I have to express myself. So I said, okay, we'll find a way. You've got to do it in a positive way. So this next idea is her idea. I've stolen it from her and I've forgotten her name. Isn't that terrible? But anyway, I've done a slight twist on it. She took this from a book that was written about a 7 days of positivity, where you set yourself the goal of only saying and thinking positive things. But now, on the basis that we may have stuff that's churning away inside of us. I think it would be a great to start, do a bit of prep before you start your 48 hours. You could do 48 hours or 7 days. The guy who wrote the original book said that he reckons you absolutely change your life and the way you are if you do this for 7 days. The other lady, I feel very bad about not knowing their names, but I'll write to you with the names. She says 48 hours will also have a huge impact on you. And I'm day 4, and it's quite interesting. But the first thing to do, I think, is to clear out the cupboard first and get all your worries and anxieties out, write them down and burn them so that you absolutely don't have any any negativity stuck inside you, anything that's churning away. And you might have very good reason to have fears and anxieties, but they're not going to help you. So write them down, get rid of them. Then for 2 days, or longer if you can, only have positive thoughts and comments about yourself, other people and situations. This is quite a challenge. We've been doing it in one of my groups, and it is a challenge, but you can do it. And you're bound to slip up, you say, when you said it, these are 2 ways of doing it. You can say, rewind, right? So pull back what you said effectively, or cancel, or I usually use my healing symbol and send healing to what I've said. And then you deliberately use your mind to think of something positive. And that can be, I like tulips, so I think tulips, but it could be a beautiful place which you love, like a beach you like, or a walk you go on, or your grandchild, something that's absolutely pure and positive. That will change the energy straight away. Okay. I will send you these slides if you're interested. If you want to, I will send them to you. Okay. So the power of you groups. Now, to set this our own personal intentions for the way forward, following on from a great talk by, and I'm getting it right this time, Lynn McTaggart, who's written the book The Power of 8, I set up with 2 groups of friends, the power of you in groups, and we called one is In Our Power and one is The Power of Us. We gave ourselves a name. Lynn McTaggart says if you get 8 of you together, you can help each other manifest what each one of you want. So you're combining the energies of the group to make these changes, to make these, to reach your goals. And I've set out here our modus operandi, if you like, of how to do this. First of all, you have 4, we have groups of 4. I think 4 is more manageable than 8. I can't imagine getting 8 people together and everybody having their say about what they're doing and how they're going. And we find this works as a great support for each other too. We have, we find that, you have these great intentions and you're working towards them, and then you find you have a slippage and a self-doubt or something crops up, and we share these with each other, and that as well is hugely helpful. So to do this, you need to find 3 other people of like minds. You could be friends or friends of friends. You get together regularly at the same time. We do ours by Zoom. We do it once a week. And the first thing we do when we get together is we light a candle. And in the very first week, this is what we did. We set our intentions, and then the following weeks, we just modified anything that we felt we wanted to modify. And we also give updates of how we've gone in the week before, which is, you could make this how you want to make it. So you start by lighting a candle, which indicates your commitment to the light. You write down your intention, and because we're all like-minded, we can share it with each other. We can share our intentions, and we help each other make sure we're very clear and specific about what we're saying. Be really specific about what you want. And to the point of, if you want more money, you say how much money you want, and put a minimum. Don't say just the amount, put a minimum. I want a minimum of a month, starting this month of this year. You really need to drill it down with specifics. And then one of us needs a very short meditation to call our energy in for wherever it's gone through the week, bring it back in, and focusing on the heart and being open to receive, because we decided that was really important. It's no good putting out what we want if we're not open to receive it. So we open our hearts to receive, our minds to receive the opportunities, and we focus on the heart, because the heart center is where your true essence sits, deep in your heart, and it is your connection to your higher self. So we align ourselves to our higher self, which is our true essence, where our life purpose and our intuition sit. So we get ourselves focused. We decided, because Lynn said 8 was a good number, we thought it was a good idea to bring in a spiritual counterpart. So each choose some being in spirit to come in and help us. Some people like to choose the divine feminine or the universal energies of light. It doesn't have to be a spiritual master. I usually like to call him Kuan Yin, but I sometimes also call him Maitreya, but that's my choice. Everybody has their own choice on this, and it's just whatever you're comfortable with. When I do that, calling in those energies, I tell you, I feel the whole vibration of the whole group shifts as well, because now we've got above and below, we've got spirit as well helping us. So really very powerful. And then we each focus on one by one on each other. So we pick the first person, and then we send 5. We do 5 minutes. Sometimes we do 3, depending how much time we have. We're sending positive vibes to that person, and that person sits there and holds their intention of what they want in their mind. Okay, so we're reinforcing it for them. And then we finish, when we've done everybody, and we've done another little session, what we want for the world, for humanity in the world and the planet. And then we close with gratitude, and then we let go and we release it, because we don't want to govern the how it's going to happen. We just let it go. So we chop and let go any expectations of how it's going to happen. So this is a really powerful way of setting intentions and supporting each other. And I really, really recommend it. I'm actually part of 2 groups, and we have already having amazing successes started already. Aren't we, Heather? Heather's in one of my groups. We are definitely making great strides. One of our group is just going to be signing a huge deal for a project, which he is very excited about. So there's all sorts of good stuff going on there in those groups. So I can really recommend that. This is the manifestation symbol, which I use, which you can, when you're doing your intention, you can use this draw the symbol 3 times and just put it over your intention. If you've written your intention down, which we do, we write our intention down, you can put the manifestation symbol over it to reinforce your intention. And this symbol is available for anybody who hasn't got it or know it in my oracle cards and in the little book Heal and Be Healed, which is now available on Amazon. There's a version of this book which I've now got on Amazon, and there's a Kindle version as well. Ah, well done, Patricia. Thank you, Patricia. So good. So now I'm going to take you into a meditation for your vision of your future, for you to allow yourself to see it, for you to set your goals or not if you wish to, but allowing yourself to see what your future may be in this new world, in this wonderful new energy that's coming through, and which your energy will match this beautiful energy that we're bringing into the world, because we're the ones that are bringing it in. As much as the world's giving it to us, we'll be bringing it in. So, okay, let's just see if there's anything in the chat. Oh, thank you very much. The lady is Deborah Poneman. Thank you, Joan, for getting me off the hook there. Brilliant, thank you. She does some great workshops as well. Fantastic, thank you. So now if you'd just like to relax and drop your shoulders, this meditation you can use for seeing your future, but you can also use it when life on earth is really tricky and difficult, and when you don't want to be in the moment, you want to be elsewhere. And I have done this with you before, but it is a very powerful way of stepping out of whatever you're in. And if it's something you don't particularly want to be in, you want to get above it. But it's also a great place to go where you want to be, where the energy is clear, so that you can see more clearly without the influences of others around you. So this is a way of stepping up and away and seeing the bigger picture of your life. So just drop your shoulders and relax and breathe in deeply 4 times. Imagine your feet firmly on the ground, or if you can put your feet firmly on the ground, do so. And allow the roots, your roots, growing down into the earth beneath you. Visualize yourself as a great tree, a great oak tree with roots that go deep, deep down and anchor you to the earth energetically, connecting to the great energies of Mother Earth and the great nurturing energy that she has. And allow that energy to flow up into you now, to reach out to every part of your body, your spirit and your mind, feeling the absolute acceptance that if you go up, you'll always still be able to get back to Earth with your very powerful connection to Mother Earth while you're down here. So drop your shoulders and let the tension flow. And I call in your energy from wherever it might be, all the places you've been focusing on, all the work you've been doing, or when you've been worrying about things. And if you're worrying about the future, I bring your energy back down into you now and right into your heart center, and aligning you now perfectly with yourself. All your energy back in, Fabulous. And now aligning you and connecting you to your higher self, the beautiful part of your spirit that holds your wisdom, holds your life purpose, your soul purpose, and your love, the true essence of you. The higher self energy, we bring that down now, right down into you, connecting with your humanness, bringing it down into your body, your physicality, and your mind, filled with this beautiful divine aspect of yourself. Feel that energy coming down now and down now, connecting, connecting, connecting. Wonderful. Bringing it down, down now, making you whole. And just going into your heart now, go down as far as you can, and going deep, deep inside you, you come to the true, true core of your being, which is your true essence, deep into your heart center. Feel the love and feel the peace of being you and accepting you. No doubts in this part of you, no doubts at all. This part of you is full of confidence and acceptance, which is your true essence. And bring in the highest frequency of light to fill you now. And this high frequency energy of light and love moves straight into your solar plexus. It seeks out your fear. It seeks out your anxiety, the cause of your anxiety. And it fills it with love and transforms it back to a peace, a place of peace, an energy of light, transforming your fears into light right now, right now, right now. Energies as one now, and clear. And see in front of you a golden staircase. You step onto the staircase and are joined by your guide. And you climb this golden staircase and it takes you up, up, up above the earth, above where you are, higher and higher. It takes you higher and higher through the clouds into rarefied atmosphere, the higher planes of consciousness, higher and higher, away from the emotions and the difficulties and the chaos of your life on earth, and takes you into a place of peace and serenity, high, 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 in the higher realms of light. You're climbing higher and higher, and you look down and you see the clouds, and you see your life below you. And you reach the top of the staircase, and you're met by another beautiful spiritual being, your guardian angel, or your guide. And that beautiful being leads you onto a platform. And from this platform, you can see your past and your present and your future. And step forward now to your future and look down on a golden path that leads way below you, leading into the future. And this beautiful path is the path of your choice, of your will, what you've chosen to do, what you're choosing. And you'll set your goal on this path. And with your intention and your passion, this is the path that you're going to walk in this new world you're creating. Just spend a couple of moments now to visualize your future the way you want it to be. This is your choice, your will. I bring to you now the powers of manifesting, the powers of intention, reinforcing your power of intention and will with the universal powers of intention and will and creativity, powers of creation, which are your birthright as a spiritual being. Bringing that into you now, right now, right now. Now, in your own time, leave the platform and know you can come back at any time, adjusting your future, tweaking it as you will, setting new goals, new intentions. It may be just to enhance what you already have. And with gratitude, you now turn back and come back down the staircase, back into your room. Okay, welcome back. And as I said, we can go back there at any time. So I've finished my bit. I just wanted to let you know that I've got 2 workshops coming up. These are both Power of You workshops on Saturdays, and one is opening and healing your heart and to attract love into your life, and the other is a workshop about karmic ties, psychic attack, negative energies and curses and all of those things that go bump in the night. All the darker energies that you might have come across, and how to deal with them and how to clear them and how to avoid them. And that will include earth energies too, in your home, energies on your land. You may have problems, or you may just be interested in the subject. So those are 2 workshops coming up, and you can book them through Brenda. So that's brenda@annejones.org. Okay, so now.
Anne, can I just say they've both got the same date and time on?
Oh, have they? Oh, have they? Oh, yes, they have, haven't they? Ah, well, let me put you right. Thank you for that. That was good spot. And let me give you the dates. The 4th of July, that one that's correct. Then the second one, which is since the negative energies are interfering already, that should read the 18th of July. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for that. Save me putting it out and sending it out to everybody. I only wrote that today. So that's the 18th of July. Thank you. All right. So now I'm going to suggest we're going into groups, and you can discuss the subjects to discuss, what insights you've had through your COVID experience, your hibernation, what insights, what has come for you from your hibernation, and what do you see as the new way forward for you and the world? So any intentions that you want to share, and anything you want to share from what you went through in this last meditation. And if anybody has any questions before we start the group, take it. Anybody got any questions? You just need to raise your hand and unmute. Everybody happy with? Okay.